In our headlines on this Monday afternoon, February 5th, here on the Korean Peninsula. Russia's deputy foreign minister arrives in Seoul last Friday to touch upon bilateral concerns following controversial comments by his ministry about President Yoon Suk-yeol's stance on North Korea's nuclear ambitions. Meanwhile, in the US, President Joe Biden wins the Democratic Party's first presidential nomination race in South Carolina this past Saturday, raising the prospects of a rematch with former leader Donald Trump. Elsewhere, forest fires in Chile kill, injure and displace hundreds of people there, starting last week as authorities declare a state of emergency and national mourning. President Yoon Suk-yeol has pledged greater government support for childcare. Speaking at the 9th policy briefing open to the public earlier on this Monday, he announced that the Neulbom School programs will be expanded to all elementary schools in the second semester, that is. The program accommodates children after school hours, allowing their working parents to pick them up later. It was launched at 459 schools last year. Acknowledging the adage that it takes a village to raise a child, President Yoon added that almost 84% of parents wish to partake in the program. Meanwhile, Russia's deputy foreign minister was in Seoul last week to address regional security concerns. Now, his visit followed controversial comments by his ministry about the Yoon administration's stance on Pyongyang. Our Yoon reports.
Russia's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Andrei Rudenko, who arrived in South Korea on Friday, held talks with Korean Foreign Ministry officials. The Foreign Ministry said Sunday that Rudenko first met with Kim Gun, Seoul's chief negotiator for peace on the Korean Peninsula, for talks on North Korea issues. Both agreed to further communication, while South Korea urged Russia to cease military cooperation with the North immediately. Rudenko met his Korean counterpart, Deputy Foreign Minister Chung Byung-won, to discuss diplomatic issues and the Ukraine war. Seoul requested cooperation from Moscow to protect Korean residents and their businesses in Russia. One expert says the discussions might be theoretical, but it is meaningful that the two countries confirmed a mutual willingness to improve relations.
Even though it was a challenge to hold this meeting, it seemed meaningful that it went ahead. At least diplomatic channels are somewhat open and things haven't actually got worse.
Meanwhile, Russia's state-run TASS news agency reported on Sunday that Russia expressed concern about escalating tensions on the Korean Peninsula. It added that Moscow also stated its intention to cooperate with Pyongyang in accordance with international law for peace and stability. On Saturday, the Foreign Ministry summoned the Russian ambassador over criticism of President Yoon Suk-yeol's remarks on North Korea's nuclear arsenal, saying that the remarks could have a negative impact on bilateral relations. Yoon, Arirang News.
Korea's foreign exchange reserves lost ground last month for the first time in 3 months. According to the Bank of Korea on this Monday, the value of the country's reserves stood at over $415 billion at the end of January, down more than $4 billion on month. The bank is linking the fall to the dollar index gaining over 2% against major currencies and to the foreign exchange swap deal with the National Pension Service for greater dollar circulation to stabilize the exchange rate. And findings show Vietnam remains South Korea's third largest trading partner despite drops in shipments last year. Data from the Korea International Trade Association also on this Monday show Korea's exports to Vietnam plunged some 12% on year, while imports from Vietnam fell nearly 3%, resulting in an almost 20% drop in trade surplus. But with a total trade value of $79.4 billion in 2023, Vietnam remained Korea's number 3 trade partner after China and the US. And over in the US, President Joe Biden won the Democratic Party's first presidential nomination race in South Carolina this past Saturday, raising the prospects of a rematch with former President Donald Trump. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
In just the first Democratic Party primary in South Carolina, voters have already sent a clear message that incumbent President Joe Biden will be leading the way come November's presidential election. In the Democratic Party's first official presidential nomination contest on Saturday, Biden took 96.2% of ballots cast, with 97% of the total votes tallied by Sunday midnight, besting Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson, who each won around 2% of ballots. The landslide victory also means Biden will be awarded all 55 of the state's Democratic delegates, as neither Williamson nor Phillips broke the 15% threshold for being awarded any delegates. Despite the overwhelming victory in the state, it also showed a much lower than expected voter turnout. Compared to the 16% of the Democrat voters who took to the polls during the state's 2020 Democratic primary, just 4% voted on Saturday. The low turnout could signal weakened enthusiasm for Biden among Democrats. The victory for Biden could now pave the way for a rematch of the 2020 presidential election with former President Donald Trump, who scored 2 consecutive nomination wins in the early voting states of Iowa and New Hampshire. Biden was absent from the New Hampshire ballot but won the contest as a write-in candidate with 64% of the vote, while in Iowa, the incumbent party decided not to cast any ballots at their caucuses, denying Biden the chance to win there. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
In other news, Chile is mourning the tragic losses of lives amid rampant blazes that began last Friday in the country and continued to wreak havoc throughout the weekend. Our Yoon reports.
Wildfires have killed at least 99 people and left hundreds more missing in Chile. A state of emergency has been declared in the country, with the coastal cities of Valparaiso and Viña del Mar choked by smoke and people forced to leave their homes. These cities, west of the capital Santiago, are also popular with tourists. According to Chile's National Disaster Prevention and Response Service, there are 161 active fires across the country, mostly concentrated along the country's central coastline. 102 of those fires are reported to be under control, 19 are under observation, and firefighters are currently battling 40. In a press conference on Sunday, President Gabriel Boric said the death toll is expected to grow substantially as authorities wait for official figures to be confirmed and delivered by Chile's Forensic Medical Service. The president also said that if anyone was found to be responsible for the fires, they would not only face rejection by all of society, but also the full force of the law. Boric said the priority was to save lives and assist injured people, as he went to the disaster area and decreed 2 days of official mourning starting Monday.
I want to communicate that I have decreed a period of national mourning for 2 days starting tomorrow, February 5th, because it's Chile as a whole that is suffering and crying for our deceased.
According to Chile's housing ministry, between 3,000 to 6,000 houses were impacted by the fire, with some 1,400 firefighters deployed on Sunday. Chilean authorities have introduced a 9 p.m. curfew in the hardest-hit areas and sent in the military to help firefighters stem the spread of fires. The cause of the fire is currently being investigated. Yoon, Arirang News.
Seoul Fashion Week comes to a close today, that is Monday, having kicked off last week. To share the seasonal trends for this year's coming autumn and winter, our Choi Soo-young reports.
Seoul Fashion Week is known for its innovative and eclectic style, often blending traditional elements and modern trends. 2024 Seoul Fashion Week's fall and winter season embarked on its 5-day run on Thursday. This season, some Korean fashion designers famous among young people gather at Dongdaemun Design Plaza and Seongsu S Factory, the country's fashion hub. Like the previous seasons, the venue is being held earlier than usual to grab the attention of the world's fashion media.
For this year's autumn and winter collection, Seoul Fashion Week takes place 6 weeks earlier than the Big Four, New York, Paris, Milan and London.
A total of 21 runway shows are scheduled, 15 at DDP and 6 at S Factory. The week kicked off with designer Park So-young's brand July Column, which has become a popular label in Korea.
July Column is very much a new generation, and Park So-young is the only designer in Korea with such craftsmanship. I was impressed with the diverse mix and match of knit, layer patterns, and meticulous detailing. I think the designer tries to balance between classic with fresh and international while also embracing a distinct Korean aesthetic.
During the show, the world-renowned South Korean soprano singer Park Hae-sang took the runway to perform her newly released song.
Nowadays, the world really can't ignore K-beauty and fashion. I think we have the power to lead, and this stage was so unique due to a collaboration with the opera singer. It was touching and truly impressive.
In particular, this season aims to increase the participation of young generation brands with high potential for global growth. And so, the Seoul Metropolitan Government, the host of this event, has invited 68 domestic brands to take part. Moreover, celebrating its 23rd year, various events allow visitors to have a memorable experience. A massive 12-meter-long graffiti wall welcomes attendees in front of DDP Square.
I think Korean people in general, they're very well coded. Like every time I see them, their pants always go with their shirts, their shoes always go with everything. Also, the fashion differs from the place that you're in. Like if you go to Hongdae, you'll see like more street fashion, and Shinsa is like more like professional look.
The event will run until February 5th, showcasing diverse talent and contributing significantly to the global fashion scene. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
Elsewhere, Korea's hosting of the 2024 Winter Youth Olympics came to a close last week. And that being said, our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin touches upon the keywords that seek to shed greater light on some of the more defining moments of this year's Games.
It's the end of another sports spectacle. With the Gangwon 2024 Winter Youth Olympic Games having come to a close, here's a look back on the Games with some keywords. Scale. The fourth Winter Youth Olympic Games was the biggest of its kind to date. We witnessed remarkable performances from 1,800 athletes representing 78 national Olympic committees across 15 disciplines in 7 sports. This beat Lausanne 2020's record of 1,788. Some 500,000 spectators visited Gangwon 2024, surpassing the organizing committee's goal of 250,000. The next keyword, legacy. This is Korea's second time hosting the Winter Olympics after Pyeongchang 2018.
For Gangwon 2024, we didn't build any new venues and used already existing ones. The organizing committee's total budget was 96.7 billion Korean won, 3.5% of the budget allocated for Pyeongchang 2018.
And then there's the soft legacy. 25 out of 100 athletes who participated in the Pyeongchang 2018 Legacy Foundation's New Horizons Academy, a training camp for young athletes from countries where winter sports are not accessible, qualified for Gangwon 2024. Out of them, Tunisian bobsledder Jonathan Lurimi and Thai bobsledder Agnes Kampeol won the first Winter Olympic medals for their countries.
Yeah, so it started with this program, New Horizon Academy, who gave me the opportunity to try out different winter sports, and I fell in love with bobsleigh, so I started to proceed bobsleigh.
Korea. Team Korea won a total of 7 gold, 6 silver, and 4 bronze at the Games. So Jae-hwan became the first Asian bobsledder to win gold at the Youth Olympics. Kim Hyun-kyung became the first Korean male to medal in figure skating, not winning 1, but 2 gold medals. Snowboarder Lee Chae-woon also won 2 gold. Culture. Gangwon 2024 offered an array of cultural events such as a DJ skate night, lessons from Olympians, and winter sports tryouts.
The most memorable aspect was Team Korea clinching the gold medal in the figure skating team event. In terms of festivities, I enjoyed the traditional Korean food tastings and the photo booth.
From the 1988 Seoul Summer Olympics to Pyeongchang 2018 and now Gangwon 2024, Korea's Olympic heritage continues. Song Yoo-jin, Arirang News, Gangneung.
Bitter is the taste of good medicine, people say. But in the case of cheon-ma, its strong stench has kept its medicinal applications limited. While efforts to eradicate its unpleasant smell has led to greater treatment prospects. Our Lee Soo-jin explains.
Called cheon-ma, the scientific name for this orchid tuber is Gastrodia lata.
known to help with dizziness, has long been used in traditional medicine for the treatment of high blood pressure, migraines, and other neurological disorders. Despite its various health benefits, it is not popular because of its pungent odor, easily mistaken as something spoiled or even toxic.
Consumers know that cheon-ma has beneficial health effects but are reluctant to eat it because of its unique foul smell.
The cause of the distinct odor is an organic compound called P-cresol, which is produced by the bacterial fermentation of protein. The cheon-ma tuber secretes the substance to protect itself from wildlife and harmful bacteria. South Korea's Rural Development Administration found an absorption technology that separates and removes cheon-ma's odor without losing any of its natural composition. And in the process, further research has revealed that extract from the odor-removed cheon-ma has excellent neuroprotective effects. Testing on animals has shown that dopamine levels were increased by 50%, while proteins that kill brain nerves were suppressed by 30%, which led to the discovery that treated cheon-ma extract would be particularly helpful in the treatment of Parkinson's disease.
We tested the odorless cheon-ma on animals with Parkinson's disease, and it showed effects of brain protection increase by 50%.
South Korea has seen a consistently increasing trend of Parkinson's disease from roughly 96,000 patients diagnosed in 2016 to around 110,000 patients in 2020. Anticipation for the new cheon-ma extract and its effect on Parkinson's disease is high, as the current treatment for the disease has a high risk of complications for patients receiving long-term treatment.
Enhanced benefits from cheon-ma also means cheon-ma will become a competitive product, which will increase income for farmers.
The Rural Development Administration has completed its patent registration for the odorless tuber and now plans to work with private companies to develop various cheon-ma products for consumers. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
And staying with health, a simple survey here can diagnose sleep disorders in mere seconds to ensure some quality rest. Our Chung Won-ju tells us how.
A polysomnography test is a sleep study where dozens of sensors are attached from the head to the arms, legs, and fingertips, and the patient must spend a night at the hospital. Although it is an essential test for diagnosing sleep disorders such as sleep apnea, people often avoid seeking medical attention until symptoms become severe due to the cumbersome testing method. While around 60% of adults suffer from sleep disorders, only about 1 in 10 of them seek medical help.
9 out of 10 people with sleep apnea are unaware of their symptoms. So even if someone tells them they snore or stop breathing, many individuals don't feel discomfort and the need to come to the hospital.
By answering 5 questions related to sleep along with providing age, gender, height, and weight, a website developed by South Korean researchers predicts 3 levels of sleep disorder risk in just 10 seconds. An artificial intelligence system trained with the results of 5,000 sleep polysomnography tests adjusts the importance of each question's answer based on individual differences to find the optimal answer among over 300 million cases. The site's prediction matches precisely with the results of actual polysomnography tests. The Sleep site, which allows anyone to check their risk of sleep disorders for free, also informs about changes in risk due to weight fluctuations or aging based on current data.
We started with about 100 unbiased questions. After analyzing the data, we found that there were 9 most important questions and were able to get accurate results.
The researchers expect that sleeps will enable individuals to assess their sleep health with a simple survey, promoting early screening of health problems. They also revealed that a follow-up version of the algorithm is under development, which additionally includes questions about alcohol and coffee consumption. Chung Won-ju, Arirang News.
Let's take a look at the latest news in the world now. In the Middle East, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Sunday warned that the recent U.S. airstrikes on Iran-backed militias are just the beginning of the response to 3 U.S. soldiers killed in Jordan a week ago. After Friday night's airstrikes against 85 targets in Iraq and Syria, Sullivan did not rule out the possibility of direct strikes against Iran and said that there will be more steps to the United States' forceful response. Iran issued a warning to the US on Sunday for potentially targeting 2 cargo ships in the Red Sea, the Beshad and Saviz, which have long been suspected of operating as fronts for Iranian commandos bases. This came after the third wave of US and United Kingdom airstrikes in Yemen across 13 locations, which hit 36 Houthi targets on Saturday. In Northern Ireland, Sinn Féin's Michelle O'Neill was appointed First Minister of its devolved government on Saturday. O'Neill becomes the first Irish nationalist to hold the position. Her appointment comes as a 2-year parliamentary boycott by the pro-UK Democratic Unionist Party, which had left Northern Ireland without a functional government, came to an end following a trade deal with Westminster. Power is shared in the devolved parliament thanks to 1998's Good Friday Agreement, which ended decades of violence between members of Northern Ireland's 2 main communities, the pro-British Unionists and Irish nationalists who want to unite with the Republic of Ireland. O'Neill said her appointment represents a new dawn, adding Sinn Féin's dream of a united Ireland may be within touching distance. In Namibia, Nangola Mbumba was sworn in as interim president on Sunday following the death of President Hage Geingob from cancer on the same day. Mbumba said in a tribute to his predecessor that the nation had lost a liberation struggle icon, adding that the nation remains calm and stable owing to the leadership of President Geingob. 82-year-old Hage Geingob, a veteran of Namibia's independence movement, served as the country's 3rd president from 2015. Mbumba, who served as Geingob's vice president, will be interim president until elections are held later this year. In India, over 100 couples were married in a mass wedding ceremony in the western Indian state of Gujarat on Sunday. In a program organized by the Gujarat Public Welfare Trust, a total of 129 couples will wed in traditional Muslim rituals in Ahmedabad. The organizers said that the couples come from poor financial backgrounds and cannot afford weddings of their own. The participating couples received gifts, including furniture and home appliances, to help them begin their married lives. Kim Seong, Arirang News.
Good afternoon. The new week is starting off with wintry precipitation. Wet clouds are covering the entire country, dropping rain or snow. And especially those in the east of Gangwon province need to be extra careful with heavy snow in the forecast. Mountainous regions in Gangwon could receive up to 30 centimeters of blizzard with heavy snow alerts in place. Meanwhile, the capital could see 1 to 5 centimeters of snow. It's raining instead of snowing in the remaining regions. The East Coast and Jeju could receive 10 to 40 millimeters of showers, and southern regions will see 5 to 30 millimeters of rainfall. Then afternoon temperatures will not go up much from today's morning lows. Seoul topping out at 4 degrees, Busan at 9 degrees, Jeju at 12, with strong wind advisory in place for Busan and Jeju. Now, this round of wet weather should ease tomorrow morning in most places, and readings will stay warmer than norms this week and into the Seollal holiday under bright skies. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
And on that note, we end now Monday's afternoon newscast. Coming up right after this break is our daily panel session, so do stay with us.